Hello and welcome to Consuming Filth. This is a new YouTube video series idea I've had where I pick out the most depraved kind of movies that are so bad that it's almost futile to review them or talk about them in any way. Just bottom of the barrel, unrelentingly atrocious and awful movies. And who knows, Consuming Filth might become an ongoing series on this channel. I can just review whatever crap movies I can find and it will probably have a fairly loose and flexible format. You might be thinking, hey, well, Bacho, how is this YouTube series any different from, say, Red Letter Media's Best of the Worst, or IHE's Search for the Worst, or Chris Stuckman's Hilariosity reviews, or whatever? That's a very good question, and there's a very easy answer to that, and that is absolutely fucking nothing. Today we begin this unfortunate Consuming Filth saga with the film Holidate.
Oh! This is the day she got her first period.
Holidate is a 2020 Netflix original raunchy rom-com targeted at the young female demographic. And I use the word targeted to imply that there is a very forceful and aggressive approach in this film's attempts to be marketable. In no way, shape or form is this a relevant movie. It is nothing. It's already been forgotten. It's already been obscured by time. It's one of the many disposable Netflix films that maybe some of you watched but then instantly forgot about. It's beyond atrocious. It's an anti-movie. It adds nothing to film culture. It can't even be viewed as a so bad it's good hate watch. It's true cinematic filth in every perceivable dimension, which is why I've selected it as a candidate for this series. This film is low-hanging fruit. It takes no skill to dismantle it. No film reviewer can accomplish anything of note by critiquing it. I feel like this is one of the most pointless and futile reviews I've made so far. It's been genuinely hard to motivate myself to produce and get this review out because of how pointless it all seems. It's redundant to say that it's cancerously unfunny, that it's pandering, that it's just a brand, that the characters are annoying and unlikable, that there's no personality to it, that it's just a product of a movie. All of those points are so inherently obvious from the get-go. This review needs no structuring, no carefully worded arguments. It's just dog shit. Big spoilers straight away, I suppose. I wouldn't really call them spoilers because they're more so just proceedings that we all expect to happen in this formulaic movie. The film stars Emma Roberts and an attractive stand-in for Chris Hemsworth.
You know, the human body is capable of living to about 120 years.
They are two struggling romantics who have recently become disillusioned to the conventions of courtship. They're jaded and they're sick of all this pressure around getting in a relationship, especially around the different holidays where you're always expected to bring a date to holiday events. They meet each other just after Christmas, after both having had a pretty terrible Christmas experience. The pair of them then end up deciding to go against the system, to break out of the matrix, as they form a pact to act as each other's dates exclusively on every holiday event of the year. Thus they avoid the social stigma of turning up to a special occasion without a date, whilst at the same time avoiding emotional attachment. So the film's plot is arranged around a one-year timeline where we're constantly seeing the two leads experiencing the different American holidays. You'd never have guessed it, but this ingenious plan of theirs doesn't work out the way they think, and they do end up becoming romantically attached. The film begins as this pandering attempt to be this unconventional, quirky, against the grain take on a romantic comedy story structure.
This is great. I love it. I just can say whatever I want, because I don't care if you think I'm a classy guy or not.
And I can wear a slutty dress and not worry about being slut-shamed.
And then obviously, inevitably, they develop feelings for each other and shit gets complicated. We get the obligatory falling out near the end of the film where we're suddenly expected to take all of the characters 100% seriously, followed of course by the final resolution of them getting together. It is an age-old, postmodern romantic comedy story structure that we can all immediately see right through. Maybe this was new and interesting when Harry Met Sally did it all those years ago, but now it has become a brand of itself, an abundantly overused brand of itself that's been exploited for years now.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Before we get into anything else, I just want to preface that this is one of the cheapest looking movies I've seen on Netflix. This is how the film opens, it just cuts straight from the production logo. Very ceremonious. Oh, it's on now, it's started, the film's begun. It's how you'd expect a YouTube video to open. It's just really jarring. There's not even a fade in, it's just, oh, this is the movie, it's started. Looks like it's on your screen already. Oh, there we go. I just also like to quickly point out the very clever use of the cigarette and Tic Tacs in this scene. It's a good visual indicator that tells you a lot about the character, and it also gives you some information regarding her relationship with the characters in the house that we're yet to see, the fact that she has to hide the fact that she smokes.
Fucking holidays.
I'm not being 100% ironic here. I mean, this is a cliche in terms of a visual indicator of this kind of behaviour, and you could just see it as Tic Tac product placement anyway. I'm just being honest here, like if I saw this in a better movie, in a better context, I very well may have praised it. This film has a very particular brand that it's pandering to, and we don't even make it 50 seconds into the film before it starts enforcing that brand upon us.
This is what you wear to Christmas dinner? Don't you even own a dress?
I'm great, Mom. Thanks.
We're just immediately subjected to an onslaught of cliches and instantly recognisable pandering scenarios. She's the only single person at her family do, and they all keep commenting on it, making her feel insecure, and she's rolling her eyes and telling them to mind their own business.
Rodney said you didn't call him.
I'm sorry, but I cannot date a professional clown.
Well, how does she expect to meet anybody when she sits around the house all day wearing pajamas?
You know it's a holiday when my sister shows up alone.
No man wants to marry a smoker who lies.
This isn't storytelling, this is just pulling from the cynical catalogue of relatable girl motifs. Sassy, jaded girl hates holidays. Oh, look how her mum speaks to her. It's ridiculous that. It's unbelievable how her mum speaks to her. If you like this film, you should be ashamed of yourself.
No man wants to marry a smoker who lies.
And now, just to whet your appetite, we're given a brief snapshot of the level of comedy that this film's going to be offering us.
And your nephew just pooped in the manger.
So, that's pretty good, that's pretty funny, isn't it?
Your nephew just pooped in the manger.
Oh, it was a tiny poop, and he moved the baby Jesus first.
Already it was clear that reviewing this film was a big mistake. You may have noticed the background music to this film and the fact that it sounds like it was sourced from iMovie.
I'd never sleep.
Well, Jesus, Sloan, it's been 6 months. You gotta get back out there.
This music, as is the case with the rest of the film, has no taste or sense of its own personality. No flavour, just light, inoffensive noise.
You didn't call Rodney?
I really don't mean to sound like some pretentious indie twat, but this film is so corporate that it actually makes you sick. It's like being force-fed cheap, tasteless, off-brand candy. Every location in this film is a hollow corporate shell, utterly phony. There is zero immersive value. You are always 100% aware that this is just another set that they're filming on. And the fucking lighting, it's overbearingly bright. Everyone is overlit to maximize the good looks of the cast. Everyone and everything looks unnaturally perfect. None of this is real. None of this feels real. This is such a redundant review. Why the fuck am I doing this? No one needs to be told this is shit. And don't you dare say that, oh, it's just a dumb comedy. I do not care. All films should have their own immersive value. All fucking films. Regardless, it's now time we got the initial establishment of the overarching themes of the film as the title is dropped.
It's just my holiday.
A holidate?
You know, a date solely for the holiday.
This film has a fantastic sense of setup and payoff. It's such a triumphant introduction to this story, similar to the likes of the Fellowship of the Ring coming together.
So be it. You shall be the Fellowship of the
Holiday. You said a what a date?
So be it.
Good God, it's so cheap looking. This really was edited on iMovie. Okay, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but just look at the lighting of this house. It's so over-coordinated. It looks completely artificial. You see this only as a movie set where a cynical production company are trying to shoot a scene, and not at all like an actual location within the film. Like, I'm pretty sure that this is at an outside location, but the way it's been lit makes it look like they're inside some kind of defunct Christmas decoration decorations warehouse. The amount of supposed light being blared out of that house window, like nothing about this screams nighttime. Just look at that real snow. I mean, you can tell that they shot slap bang in the middle of winter and definitely not sometime in summer. So here's the stand-in for Chris Hemsworth, but really at this point he's the stand-in for Luke Hemsworth. This dude's introductory story consists of him going to a girl he barely knows parents' house for Christmas. It's playing off that awkward meeting of the parents archetype, and the gag here is that they're really weird, obsessive, and keep talking about sexual stuff.
Carly's father and I are perfectly comfortable with you two sleeping together in here.
This is the kind of gag that I reckon something like South Park would execute in an actually funny way with the right level of absurdism. But obviously in this case it's clunky, crass, cringy in all the wrong ways.
But we had sex, Jackson, twice!
The cast suck and are overacting, and the actual jokes themselves are of that ilk of humour that just irritates you in how obvious it is. They're derivative, uninspired and broad. The average person could come up with immensely more well thought out jokes if given only a minute to think of one.
Oh, this is the day she got her first period.
Good one. The average person definitely couldn't have shat a better joke than that.
I see, so you know me well enough to come in my mouth, but you don't know me well enough to get me a Christmas present?
That level of comedic writing is persistent throughout the whole film. The same criticism I just gave to this opening gag can be applied to all of the rest of the jokes in the movie, so I'm not going to go into any more depth regarding why this film's comedy sucks. It's inherently obvious to anyone sane.
My tongue is having a major orgasm right now.
Again with the lighting, this is a normal bedroom. It looks like they're in a supermarket.
And Salome, why didn't you call Rodney?
This child actress has no idea what she's doing.
Because I already have a boyfriend. His name is Levi, and he shares his juice box with me every day at recess.
She doesn't know what she's saying, she doesn't know what the context of her lines are or what words to put emphasis on. As if this thing wasn't half-arsed enough in good movies.
Because I got some important shit going on here. What do you think? No, I got something on my mind. I got something on my mind.
What, your juice box?
Films as bad as these have absolutely no bearing on how to make a child perform well on camera.
So, and Salome, why didn't you call Rodney?
This is hardly even acting, they've just got a child to say words.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Of course, just in case you needed it explaining, the joke here is that she's a child, but she's talking about all this relationship stuff like she's an adult.
It's okay. He wasn't ready for a real relationship. I need someone who's gonna put me first.
It's an ingenious juxtaposition that is most definitely not in the same vein of comedy as those posts you find on Facebook that make 13-year-old girls laugh.
God, my parents love you.
Here's a blowjob.
Have any other plans?
It's delivering on the raunchy rom-com quota. Nothing else to mention really other than the shitty stock music.
Have any other plans?
It's supposed to be adding to the comedy of the scene, but because it's so cheap sounding, it just makes everything seem way more tacky. It's just generic, stock, quirky comedic music to indicate when something supposedly funny is happening, insisting its own comedic value. More cringe ensues.
I can't believe that you'd ambush me like this in front of your parents. Actually, you know what? I can. Because chicks go mental on the holidays.
Well, the film's raised a pretty eye-opening philosophical point there. Chicks go mental on the holidays. That's its beginning thesis statement. Let's see how the rest of the film explores that idea.
Because chicks go mental on the holidays.
Chicks go mental on the holidays.
Will you make me the happiest man in the world and marry me?
Oh my gosh.
I'm not saying that Emma Roberts is usually a good performer, but her reaction shot here is genuinely awful.
And marry me?
Oh my gosh.
What the fuck is that? That is some dog shit acting. Pitiful. And now we get this title card just to top it all off.
Love these pajamas.
It's pathetic. A freeze frame zoom in, and again it's that shit music jingle. I was joking about the iMovie thing, but it's actually living up to that. I thought that Netflix at least put loads of money into these shows and films. Like Sex Education, for instance, has a substantial production value. Holidate doesn't look far off a Darman video or a TikTok movie. That abrupt opening, that map shot of Chicago, that title card, it all looks so incredibly cheap. And we're only 8 minutes in. I don't need to go on. This film has already proven itself to be shite, but I need to keep going to finish this review. This also goes without saying, but what I am reviewing here isn't a real movie. It's a product. To its core, it is cunningly designed to capitalise off of its target demographic with any means necessary. It's not trying to immerse you, it's trying to exploit you. In this case, the target demographic is young adult women / teenage girls, and then perhaps by extension couples and boyfriends. There may appear to be characters in this film, when in actual fact what we are seeing are walking brands that are each honing in on specific archetypes that are relatable to the average teenage girl's life. You got your bitchy, jaded, snarky, scowly, eye-rolling woman for your main character, your basic bitch girl's ideal, ripped, jovial Aussie boyfriend, out of touch and invasive mother, the comically inappropriate and sexually active aunt, siblings who seem to have it all together and thus make you feel insecure for being single.
You know it's a holiday when my sister shows up alone.
Don't rub it in. She's obviously sad.
I'm not sad.
This one's my favourite. Lead male's best friend who's more sexually crude and in turn makes the main man look more noble by comparison.
How are you today, my fine German pussycats?
There's nothing at all wrong with archetypes. The problem here is that everyone is a shell of what their character is supposed to represent. They've been crudely injected into the film to appeal to the broadest spread of people. They are characters for everyone and therefore no one. The characters don't function like how actual movie characters should. They just exist to be something that audiences will have an easy time instantly relating to.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have an obscene amount of candy to buy.
When you have these archetypes and you don't flesh them out at all, they turn into surface level stereotypes.
No, thank you. I prefer the singles table.
Emma Roberts is an actress who seems to have made a career off of being that sassy, moody girl who's always scowling and rolling her eyes.
Okay, could you teach me how to do and everyone at home
I'll
how to
teach
do
everyone.
a bitch face?
So, firstly, you have to narrow your eyes, like you're really mad. And then purse your lips. And the key is to twitch your mouth a little bit, like, oh, you don't know what I'm about to say to you. So it's a little like...
Not meaning to get old Jordan Peterson on you, but this is a popular archetype among young women. This comedic midlife crisis, post-breakup mentality where you let yourself go a bit, become all jaded, pretend as if you're happy being single, have to deal with your family constantly looking down on you and trying to set you up with people. That is the particular common characteristic among young women that Emma Roberts' entire brand seems to be catering towards. And again, there's nothing inherently wrong with being relatable, but it is films like Holidate that are blatantly out to capitalise off of a trend rather than tell a story. Speaking of story, Holidate hasn't got its own story, nor its own sense of humour.
It's my fuck you finger. I can't lose my fuck you finger.
Slow him good luck. His fuck you finger's in your hands.
From its conception, it has decided to be nothing other than a reactionary product to various trends, carving out no personality for itself. But all that goes without saying. Every frame a product. Oh, but what about the performances? I mean, the Luke Hemsworth type is competent, I guess. He wasn't terrible.
Pussy.
Emma Roberts, however, is quite bad.
You know what? My Christmas already sucked, so you can go nail it somewhere else.
She's always overacting and heavily playing into her brand, which is, to be fair, the only thing she seems to have as an actress.
Yes, I am. Happy.
It's a one-note, cringy and irritating character that's nothing but a warped amalgamation of a bunch of popular girly memes.
Nope. Maybe. No.
Hey, look, it's Tinder. We all know what Tinder is.
What's Holidate? Is that a new app that I need to download?
Look, apps. We all download apps. Relatable. For a very brief moment, we seem to have this Safdie Brothers style cinematography.
She was his decorator on the new condo, hoping to be wife number 3.
Very good. Very good.
Excuse me.
You Peter?
Yes, I am. We're in the middle of... Hello.
Nick, what are you doing?
We're in the middle of something here. We're in the middle of an exam. Hey, Nick,
about
Nick.
the stuff and the pan and the chicken.
Wait, please.
How would you like it if I made you cry, huh? Would you like that?
No, I would not.
They're playing this judge of character game, but it's easy to judge people's character when everyone's literally a walking cliche.
White satin ruffles, rented tuxedo. You're just drenched in sweat. They are definitely getting engaged at midnight.
Again, the visual storytelling and the visual indicators are just so obvious. It's like the easiest judge of character game in the world. And here we go again with the attempt to be this self-critiquing, unconventional approach to the romantic comedy format.
I just can say whatever I want, because I don't care if you think I'm a classy guy or not.
And I can wear a slutty dress and not worry about being slut-shamed.
Aren't we so original? We're breaking out of these societal constructs.
Well, it's the only word I know that accurately describes every romantic comedy in history.
And we get more of this deconstructing the genre of the romantic comedy.
There's always some fake reason the stars can't be together when you know they're gonna be together from the poster.
I can't believe it has the audacity to be meta, to criticise the format like this, even though this is the most cookie cutter of films. Meta humour and self-irony and self-critique has become its own brand at this point. It's an overused gimmick. And look at this nice bit of ADR where she's not even moving her lips.
He wore these, he wore these, he wore these.
Just absolutely fantastic. There's another raunchy joke with her boobs coming out in front of a big crowd, and the reaction shots here are just so phony. And the way it's been edited, there's this utter disconnect between the main characters and the extras. Like, it doesn't even seem like they're reacting to the same thing. I know you say, oh, it's just a stupid comedy, you don't have to criticise this sort of thing, but I'm doing a review, like, what the fuck else am I supposed to talk about? In comedies, little details like that are important if you want the joke to land. I mean, it's a stupid joke anyway, but still. Now, this might actually be a bit shallow of me, but these characters are too attractive to feel sorry for, particularly when the thing I'm supposed to be feeling sorry for them is related to dating. Like, will these people really have any real trouble with that? I suppose none of this would matter in a good film because you always have, like, very attractive people in the lead roles.
No, it's Thursday, and I am gonna take a long hot bath, pop a bottle of Pinot,
Harkening back to that thing I said about the jaded single girl archetype.
treat myself to a few pounds of chocolate, and who knows, might even watch a little porn.
All of that dialogue you heard there was just cynically catering to that. For some reason, girls, and when I say girls, I'm talking about the ones with the most broad sense of humour, so most of them, think it's hilarious when women do things that you'd usually associate men doing, like binge eating trashy food, watching porn, getting drunk, getting high. It's really one note, and it got old a long time ago, and it wasn't really that funny to begin with. But of course, you've got to understand that they can't help this because their brains are just wired differently and they're not very efficient at comedy, so me and Ben Shapiro even did a test. Now here we get this airplane style joke where it's a bait and switch where it looks as if she's jerking him off in the car, when in actual fact they're just eating chocolates together. I mean, it's not as if this joke was destined to be a brilliant knockout knee slapper or anything, but this bait and switch just doesn't work on any level, because there's nothing about the activity of eating chocolates out of a box like that would simulate these kind of hand gestures and hand movements and these words that they're saying.
Oh my god, so good.
Is that enough? More.
No.
Stop moving. I'm almost done.
Like, maybe for this to work, it could have been her trying to open this stiff water bottle cap that was on his lap, or maybe there was a shake weight involved or something.
Stop moving. I'm almost done.
Almost done. Almost done with what? Unboxing the chocolates? Taking a chocolate out of the package? Like, what was going on there? She has no reason to be moving her hands like that, so on close examination it just comes across as really forced.
God, you are not kidding.
Hold on.
Shit, it's all over my pants.
And again with that shitty stock comedy music.
Oh my god, so good.
Is that enough?
No.
It's funny now because the goofy music's playing. This is the moment where you laugh. You can also see the different takes they used because the continuity's off. They haven't properly blended the different takes together.
I guess I was just embarrassed to admit that nothing had changed since New Year's.
Holidates until further notice.
Okay, and men are just hardwired to panic and flee.
Okay, fine.
Now here they're inside a fairly ordinary looking bar, and yet again, it's lit the exact same way as every other scene, which is in the style of an in-studio talk show. Have you ever seen a cleaner looking pub floor in your life? Honestly, it's like some weird utopia, everything's immaculate. Oh, hang on, wait, oh, it's a continuous shot. I've been checkmated. This film's brought out the big guns. It's proven itself to be Kino. It's over, I can't say anything. How How do we end this scene? Oh, fuck it, just have a freeze frame transition. If you thought that was bad, look how it fades into this scene where no one's talking because the scene hasn't begun yet. They're just staring at each other, and then she says, "It's Mother's Day," to let us all know that it's Mother's Day.
It's Mother's Day.
Wow, you're giving me so much opportunity to forget that I'm watching a manufactured piece of storytelling. I just feel like I'm watching nothing but a genuine story here. Thank you.
It's Mother's Day.
It's Mother's Day! See, if this was a good movie and it had a proper screenwriter behind it, then you would have had dialogue that like told you something about the characters' relationship. Something like, "I haven't seen you this tense since you fell into that nest of Gandarks."
Oh, yes.
That might be the worst and most lazy establishing shot I've ever seen in a movie. But again, this is all redundant to say. This is the most pointless review ever. Everyone already knows what this film is. But hang on there, ladies and gentlemen. You're yet to see this next action-packed scene that mirrors the excitement of an Uncharted 4 level.
Watch out! Slow down! Run, 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 run! Submarine! Guys, seriously!
Were the actual actors in the car for any of that, or was it just all overdubbed?
Seriously!
Jesus Christ, look how fast that car is going. Someone could get seriously injured here. This takes me back to that final mission in Halo. You notice how all these fast collision shots don't have the actual car in frame. However, when you do see the car, they make it very clear as to what brand it is. That's very important to know. Toyota didn't give them permission to damage the car.
I don't do drugs.
Can you call yourself a professional athlete?
Now we're commentating on the corruption of the sports industry. That's a very poignant observation from Holidate. Here we have the most palatable, digestible and familiar depiction of weed smoking that everyone can relate to. That fucking stock reggae music. Oh look, they're laughing at small things.
You don't have to lift a finger.
I just can't put my finger on it.
You literally wouldn't have had to have ever smoked weed in your life to make this scene. You wouldn't need to know anything about it. It's like an AI generated weed smoking scene.
Seriously?
That smoke looks computer generated. Could they not even get a smoke machine? It's just a hollow fucking movie. Now in this scene, however, it's utterly serious. We're supposed to take this story seriously now because there's sad guitar music playing. It's like a genuinely emotional moment in the movie.
You should probably get some rest.
Yeah. To be fair, if you made the colour palette a little bit darker and made it all a bit monochromatic, this would be a Zack Snyder scene. Maybe insert a few slow-mo shots here and there. But aside from that, it's about the same level of disingenuous storytelling. Oh no, look, they seem to have actually developed feelings for each other. Their quirky and unconventional approach to courtship didn't last forever. Who could have predicted that? Oh boy, I sure hope these two characters get together. They're both such humble and moderately attractive underdogs. From this point onward, this film is going to start pretending to be sentimental and heartfelt. It's going to pretend that all of a sudden it has a soul.
I didn't have any other plan.
Okay, so now we're getting a very When Harry Met Sally inspired scene, where it's jump cutting between these two different conversations.
I can't. It's her brother's wedding on Labor Day.
I'm so confused. You like him. He likes you. These are not real problems.
This is really clever. This is such good editing and amazing storytelling. No, is it fuck? The actual timing of these cuts are so uninspired and stilted and robotic.
Use protection?
I'm telling you, there was a vibe. I can't just like him until I know for sure that he likes me.
You cannot go to a wedding with...
There hasn't been any craft or thought that's gone into this editing. It was just, hey, it's got to be quirky and it's got to be fast and witty and a little bit like When Harry Met Sally.
I can't. It's her brother's wedding on Labor Day.
I'm so confused.
A wedding trumps a holiday. You understand that, right?
Men loathe weddings.
Also, for a film like this that is so fiercely pandering to the zeitgeist, you'd think that they'd at least get the FaceTime interfaces right. You'd think they'd at least be accurate and realistic. But no, again, they look pathetic. They look like shit. And rushed and cheap and tacky.
In fact, maybe we should just rethink this whole Holidate thing.
Maybe we should.
Great.
great.
And now it's time for the obligatory conflict, followed by the falling out, which acts as the end of second act downer, only for them to finally get together at the end.
It's not gonna look good on the video.
Yeah, someone needs to tell them.
Oh, weird. Daddy love.
Did they just crop the screen? It's just crass filmmaking.
On your eyes.
Just let me go!
Wait.
I can't!
Now we appear to be getting a poo gag. Contrary to popular belief, poo jokes can actually work sometimes, like how Sacha Baron Cohen or South Park do when they just take it to such a ludicrous extreme that you just have to laugh at the absurdity.
I hate in movies when people kiss in the morning.
And here's yet another example of that meta brand of critiquing the genre, breaking the mold, not playing by the rules.
I hate in movies when people kiss in the morning. I think it's gross.
It's some lightweight postmodernist self-awareness. This film is not smart, it's not unique or original, it's just following along a trend. We've now arrived at Thanksgiving. Here we go, guys, here comes the big emotional confession of love.
Honestly, what do you think would have happened if I said, hey, I think you're incredibly beautiful?
A lightweight, derivative, trashy version of When Harry Met Sally's ending.
With these lips that beg to be kissed.
Hang on, you know what, that wasn't actually that bad. I might try that.
But at least I won't be alone, sitting at the kids' table, blaming everyone else for my problems.
And here we are, the near end of film low point. Just as I foresaw.
Why? Oh my god! He's joking!
Some random old guy who has no connection with anybody is having a heart attack, and it's being played completely seriously.
Stop it! He's not choking! You guys, he's having a heart attack! Somebody call 911!
If this film had any balls, this would also be something that was played for laughs, like another one of those raunchy, outrageous gags. But no, this is serious because of the serious music.
Why? Oh my god! He's joking!
Quick, do the Heimlich!
I don't know the Heimlich.
You don't know the Heimlich?
Step aside, I know the Heimlich.
There's a moral to this film. I don't know if you knew. Why do all of these raunchy comedies pretend to have emotional weight in the final stages of the film? Now all of a sudden this stupid relationship isn't being played for laughs and is actually really heartfelt and profound. Fuck off. This has a fainter moral fibre than a Jackass film. It's bullshit because they don't own that uproarious, offbeat, outrageous rom-com identity. I'd respect this film more if it just committed to the overt, sensational, offensive crassness. Like they totally copped out on that poo gag earlier. Nothing happened there. It can't be that provocative because a lot of couples might be eating their dinner to this. This is what this film should have been like. Full on, balls to the wall, offensive and outrageous. Maybe she gets cancer at the end, or AIDS. That old guy actually fucking dies and evacuates his bowels on the Thanksgiving table. Worst Thanksgiving ever! There should have been a reveal when they got together that her family were all part of this neo-Nazi death cult or something.
You're the most amazing man I've ever met.
So you broke up with me?
Now apparently we're supposed to take this character and her whole story completely seriously.
Losing you was the dumbest mistake of my life. Please tell me we can have another chance.
How did this relationship begin?
I like a man in fur.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, it's a fucking one-off gag about the inappropriate aunt getting with someone way younger than her. This is like in The Wrong Missy when the woman in that acts like a complete sociopathic bitch the whole movie. And then at the end it tries to make you sympathise with it. It's like, oh, she was bullied, oh, she was a loner.
You have to say something, say anything, just...
The music in this film is literally the only indicator of what emotion we're supposed to be feeling in a given scene.
I can't imagine being happy without you.
Speaking broadly, there are two types of film music. One good, one bad. Music that complements the emotion and the substance on screen, and then music that compensates for the lack of substance and emotion on screen.
Honestly, what do you think would have happened if I said, hey, I think you're incredibly beautiful? With these lips that beg to be kissed. Susan, I love you.
This is utter 100% compensation, and the music itself is shite anyway. Final scene, we're at the mall again. A lot of this film takes place in the mall, doesn't it? I suppose it makes it easier to get a bunch of the product placement done if they're literally always at a fucking mall in the movie. And now here it is, ladies and gentlemen. We get the lovers finally coming together moment.
All right, let's get some presents.
Aunt Salome, life is giving you a moment.
That, no joke, no irony, no sarcasm, that kinda got me.
Don't fuck it up.
The truth is, I just want you.
Nah.
We're avoiding the cliches. This film is the rom-com equivalent of The Last Jedi. Oh wait, hang on, doesn't that still mean it's shit? You could accuse the mentality behind making this movie of being narcissistic, due to how manipulative and surface level it is. But honestly, narcissists would be way more subtle in their approach to deceiving people. If this film was a person, they'd be the most vacuous, vain, and insufferable of cunts alive. They'd just always be telling these horribly unfunny jokes and giving you these creepy, hollow smiles. This film is displaying the same level of manipulative behaviour that, if were embodied by a person, would make that person a dangerously empty individual. If this film successfully tugs on your emotions, your level of emotional susceptibility is crucially low, and by God do you need to get more savvy, because there are people out there whose prime directive it is to prey on the emotionally vulnerable. And when you have storytelling that is this insincere and phony,
No, thank you. I prefer the singles table.
you have to wonder about the morality of Netflix as a company. This is a detestable attempt to crudely manipulate the emotions of the general public, an abuse of storytelling similar to the likeness of propaganda. And then you think of how Netflix wanked themselves off for claiming to be a diverse company, when if you look at things more closely, you'll probably find that they're just as transparent about that as well. Harkening back to what I said about archetypes becoming stereotypes, to Netflix, diversity and therefore different races are just brands, so consequently we still get characters such as these that give off strong airs of tokenism. I only bring this up because this is literally the whitest movie imaginable, and you have this Christmas dinner with all these white people, and the only black person there is this oafish, antisocial, messy eater. It just feels wrong. And then later, Emma Roberts tells the Aussie guy about it. She tells him that her aunt got her cookie licked by a mall Santa.
And catching my aunt getting her cookie licked by a mall Santa.
That's a festive visual.
The embarrassing and depraved part about that joke is supposed to be the fact that it's a mall Santa, but then later they run into that same guy, and the Aussie says, "That's the cookie licker?" Like all surprised, like there's an extra level of embarrassment being added here in this scene. Now I can't say for certain if this is indeed the case, what I'm about to say, but the only new piece of information that the Aussie guy is learning here is that the mall Santa is black. So what I'm saying is this scene implying that it's more embarrassing because the mall Santa is black?
Hey, Sloan!
Oh God. Oh God.
What, is that an ex-boyfriend of yours or something?
Again, I'm not saying that's definitely the case, it just comes across as wrong. If anything, this is done by accident just because of how shallow the filmmaking is in this film. What's next? An Indian doctor? Tokenism is a consequence of surface level storytelling and branding. Treat races like a brand and that's what you get. It's not necessarily immoral, it's just amoral. Where it gets actively immoral on Netflix's behalf is having all of that in your film and still trying to appear as if you're a company that cares about these social issues. Anyway, yeah, I know, big company bad, big company is an insincere piece of shit. Who would have thought? I'm not the first person to say any of this. I mean, maybe it's futile to criticize Netflix at this point because didn't they make cuties and didn't that like sexualize children? Why did I review this movie? I'm sorry guys, I thought it would be funny, you know, like, haha, it's so bad it's good, haha, look at this terrible film. This was not really that fun for me. It's a shit film that's 2 years old that I've unnecessarily gone back and revisited in this comprehensive fashion. You can assess all of this film's major flaws very early on in the runtime, and the rest of the viewing experience is just this repetitive purgatory. I wouldn't recommend this to anyone. It's a toxic film. It's genuinely bad for you. It plays on all of the worst and most surface level areas of the brain. Maybe an alien could get something out of this, like purely for research purposes, like an alien that's not seen anything else from our civilization. Then again, I do not want Holidate to be this alien's first impression of humanity. Humanity can do better than this. That's the take-home message of this video. Humanity is better than this. There's still hope for us yet. But what does IMDb say? It's got a 6.1 on IMDb with a 44 Metascore. I know IMDb is its own thing, but 6.1 is still in the positive spectrum of the 1 to 10 rating system. It's not like IMDb means anything, but still, 6.1 out of 10. For the record, I'm giving it a 1. If I could give it a 0, I would. This film came out the same year as The Wrong Missy, and somehow it's worse. It's hardly even provocatively shit. Even dumping on it, even shitting on it now feels pointless. So in conclusion, in a lot of ways, this is the worst kind of film because it's unfunny as a comedy, so much so that it becomes irritating. It's cheap and incompetent, utterly devoted to being a product, both agonising and atrocious while simultaneously inoffensive and formulaic. And ultimately, it's forgettable. It's a black hole of storytelling, and I'm sorry for even bringing attention to it.
Farouk is a doctor, and he's single.
Fuck this thing. Fuck this thing. Fuck this thing. Honestly, fuck this thing. Done.
Cheeks go mental on the holidays.
Chicks go mental on the holidays.